Hey everybody, it's Alexia from amysticspath back with another weekly pick a card reading. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Now, this week's pick a card reading focuses on what does my inner child have to say to me right now. Now, in a couple seconds, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and put up the picture that you guys can pick your groups from. Make sure that you are centering yourself and pick, whatever groups you feel pulled to the most. You may feel pulled to two groups more than or just one. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. Just kind of follow your intuition for the message for you. And I will have the timestamps up for you guys to just go ahead and go right to the group that you have picked. Unless you want to watch the whole video all the way through, you are more than welcome to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and pause. Okay, so for my group number ones, we get the dedication card, justice, and a legua. And the message from your inner child is to remain in dedication to yourself. There has been a lot of things within your childhood that you feel that justice should have been served for, and it had not been, which has kind of put you in this place where you kind of aren't fully emerging into the world the way that you need to be. Something is holding you back, almost like it has its hand on the back of your shirt, constantly pulling you back every time you try to walk out of the door, every time you try to move on. Some of the things that have happened in your childhood have just really affected you greatly. Things you don't necessarily understand, that there's not closure on a lot of things, that there's things that really need to have serve justice for before you felt like you can move on. But your inner child is really telling you today that you don't necessarily need that outward justice being served, or that public apology, or that, I was wrong and I shouldn't have done this to you. As much as we would all like that, sometimes people don't change, and people don't factor in kids' feelings because they're not adults. And to give yourself the justice that you need, whether that looks like cutting this toxic person out of your life because they may have been, a blood family member. Maybe you've already cut them out of your lives, but regardless, it might be cutting them out of your life. It might be ceasing all communication. It might actually be speaking up for yourself and saying, hey, this was wrong. You were wrong. I feel like I deserve an apology. But within that, you have to expect there may be a blow up, because people get triggered when they are in the face of something that they have to deal with that they did that was wrong. And to know that, no, you didn't deserve it. Guess you were innocent. You were a child. You didn't, you didn't expect it. You didn't deserve it. You didn't know to look for it. All of that, it wasn't your fault. The situations that you were put in weren't your fault. The way people talked to you weren't your fault. The things other people did to you weren't your fault. And to remain in dedication to yourself and healing that. And yes, we talk about healing, and healing is hard. And it's messy. And it's like, seems like all these messages are like heal, 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 rest, rest, rest. But it's such a big part on moving and elevating and growing through life. And if you don't heal this part, if you don't give yourself that inner justice, if you don't come to terms with telling yourself, believing within yourself that you didn't deserve that, and it wasn't because of anything that you did, it's going to keep pulling you back. It's going to keep pulling you back to this place where you feel stuck. You come against this wall. You can't move forward because why? Why did this happen to me? And it may have been somebody that you loved. It may have been somebody that you trusted completely. And it just shattered all of that, and your trust is broken. But you really have to come to terms with the fact that it wasn't your fault. It wasn't anything that you did to cause anybody to act a certain way towards you, and to really remain in dedication to yourself so you can move on and you can elevate throughout the world. You can let that piece of you go that's been holding you back. And that's like literally the most important thing that you can do, is let go of what is holding you back, because you had no fault in what happened, regardless of the way you look at it. When you're a child, you're just responding to your environment and the situations that you're put in, and the way people respond to you is really more of a reflection of your environment than it is of you as a child. But what I'm really seeing for you guys is healing, dedication to yourself, pulling together all of the pieces of yourself, really pulling yourself together and coming to a space where you know that you're okay because it wasn't your fault. You can stop feeling like what was my part to play in this, because as adults we all see that we're accountable for things, but children are less accountable because they're not responsible, or in a place where they're mentally responsible and really mentally even developed. And once you kind of lay these pieces, you know, you gather yourself up and lay what's holding you back to rest, you can kind of open that door and fully emerge and kind of take that deep breath and kind of hop over that barrier and emerge into the world fully, and kind of, you know, give rest, say this is done, we're closing this case, it's done. I know what I have to do for me, and that's what's most important here. Know what it is that you have to do for yourself. Okay? And that is what I'm seeing for my group number ones. Now, for my group number twos, we get cycles, the Moon card, the Knight of Cups, and Ogun Balin Dio. And this is really saying that your inner child really wants you to know that it is time for you to step into a new cycle, or one that of more like a child, as far as following your heart goes and making sure that you're getting adequate rest for yourself emotionally and mentally and physically. But it's time for you to really sit and separate yourself and fill up your cup, fill it up, admire it, love it. This is your emotional and mental reservoir. This is the energy that you have to exert, that a lot of people will take from when they need nurturing and comforting and things of that sort. But it's kind of time for you to come to a place where your cup is full and you're taking from your cup, because you're refilling your cup. You may not have the emotional reservoir resources, if you will, to give out to other people right now. And that you kind of just need to sit in a space where you can come to a point of rest and come to a point of stillness and listen to your heart and what it is that it truly wants for you, and what it is that your inner child truly wants for you, and what that looks like for you. And then make your decisions based on that. Make your decisions less on what your logical mind is telling you and deterring you from how you feel and what you're pulled to. Really sit in a space, look at what your heart's telling you, and then incorporate the logistics into that after you have come to a space where you know that this is what you want, and now you have to make it work because this is what your heart is telling you. You have to really step out of that space where you've been really ignoring your heart quite heavily and not giving attention to its wants or needs, and that has to stop. And your inner child is really just telling you to listen to your heart, find out what it is that it exactly wants if you don't know already, and listen to it. Find out why it feels that way. Sit with yourself for like a day or two and really just absorb what it is that you want. Let your thoughts filter in and make the decisions that you need to make after you have done it from a place where you are looking at the mental, emotional, and physical aspects of it all, and what it is that you need to be more whole and less drained and running on empty, and really operate from moving from your heart and less from a place of logistics so much, where it's sharp and really swords energy, really King of Swords energy, where it's just, this is what I have to do, and it doesn't matter how I feel because these are my responsibilities and this is what needs to get done. When we're stepping away from that and kind of incorporating, you know, the Cups energy, and we're getting the Knight of Cups because you have to get into a space where you're following your heart. The King of Cups has already done so. So we're following our heart and really listening to it and letting it speak to us because it's such an important piece. And this is what I'm really seeing for my group number 2s. Now, my group number 3s, we get the Fertility card, the Ace of Swords, and Orete. Now, this is saying that you may be a person that has a lot of really good ideas. You may have always been a person who has really had good ideas, or you may have a really good idea right now. Something that it is that you feel that you need to do, something that came in like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that before? It might have been something that you have been thinking about all along and you don't feel that you have the willpower or the right resources or the right moxie to get this idea or this thought to fruition, or what it is that you've been thinking of to really create. But we are getting, when we look at the Fertility card, there's a lot of energies of manifestation around you. You haven't really given yourself credit to all that you can pull and bring into and manifest into this world. And the message coming from your inner child is really to let go some of those mental limitations that you have put in place for yourself and create what it is that you are thinking of, what you have been driven towards. Stand up for yourself and claim it. Don't let the limitations come in the way. Find your strength and claim what it is that you want, because you can be a powerful manifester to bring things into creation and into fruition through the passion that you have, through the passion that fills you deep down. You are probably a very passionate person. You probably feel all emotions very intensely, but you have the ability and the powers of manifestation around you to create what it is that you've seen for yourself, or what you're seeing for yourself right now. You just have to stand up and claim it. You have to take it. You have to say, this is mine, without any wavering like boundaries or borders, and say like, this is my strong structure and I'm taking this for mine. And this comes with a level of determination and willpower, but you have to kind of prove to yourself and the universe that it is that's actually what you're doing, that you're actually standing up for yourself, that you're actually taking, claiming what it is that you want and really harnessing that. Okay. We often tell ourselves, as soon as we have a great thought, that we aren't good enough to do it, or we don't have the right resources, or other people do that, I don't do that, or other people have good luck with those things, but I don't. And it's really stepping away from the limitations that you put on yourself because of what other people have told you, and get into that space of that childlike energy where children will try anything, they will try to do anything, even if, you know, they completely get messed up in the process, but there's no limitation that is telling them in their brains that they can't do it. Society has kind of put that on you. Society has really placed that impression on you, and to get away from that way of thinking, you have the energies of manifestation. I'm like literally looking at them to create what it is, either your vision that you've had since a kid, or the vision that you are having, you know, right now. Claim it for you. And that is what I'm seeing for my group number 3s. Now, I hope that everybody gets exactly what they needed out of this pick a card reading, and that it is very helpful for you. If you have any questions about the group that you picked, please contact me, and I will love to talk to you about it and give you some more clarity if you need so. And if you feel that you need a session specifically for yourself, please do not hesitate to contact me. I would love to work with you.